For Wednesday, the 10th of January. I'm Stephen Ridgway. Patch Tuesday has come around again. First one for 2024, blah, blah. Anyway, there are a handful of fixes for vulnerabilities, a couple of which are rated as critical. The two critical ones being CVE 2024-2064 and 2024-20700. 2064 is a vulnerability that can allow attackers to impersonate a Windows Kerberos server. That would permit an attacker to basically perform things like man-in-the-middle attacks and so on. Basically reasonably simple to execute. There is a restriction in that the attacker would have to be on the local network in order to run this attack. However, because of the simplicity of execution, Microsoft are rating this as critical. So that's one definitely to get on top of. The other critical, 20700, is a remote code execution flaw in Hyper-V's native hypervisor. Again, the attacker would need access to the local network before exploiting that, but the exploit involves winning a race condition. Now, okay, race conditions don't guarantee, those vulnerabilities don't guarantee that you're going to be able to compromise your intended device, but as we've seen recently, and in some of these competitions, race conditions are perfectly decent ways of exploiting. You will eventually win a race. Definitely a couple there that Microsoft are saying needs to be fixed ASAP. Amongst other things, vulnerabilities in SharePoint Server. There are vulnerabilities in Windows Cloud Files, Mini Filter Driver, Common Log System, Windows Kernel, Win32k, and so on and so forth. And there is also a vulnerability that's been fixed in Microsoft Office that could lead to remote code execution via FBX files. To the best of my knowledge, and from what I've been reading today, these vulnerabilities are not currently being exploited, so you do have the opportunity to get ahead of the game this time, get the patches rolled out, and avoid finding yourself in a mess. So, poorly secured MS SQL servers have been a target for as long as I have been, as long as SQL has been out there in the world. SQL Server has been out there in the world. However, at the moment, there is a group of Turkish criminals who are targeting poorly secured Microsoft SQL servers globally. So they've been seen to be targeting the US, European Union, and Latin America, but it appears to be not a geographically focused attack. The campaign has been codenamed re, then the hash symbol, Turgence. Rehash Turgence. I don't know how you would pronounce these silly names that people come up with. They don't help. They really don't help. Actually, they really don't help us in the industry to talk about these things to people who are not in the industry. some of these names. Yeah, all right, I can talk having got a elite named company, but there are ways that you can talk about things that don't involve naming stuff in stupid ways, so that senior business people look at you and go, "Bloody kid." Anyway, so there is a decent write-up in the Hacker News for this particular campaign. It is, there are some there's some decent information there. However, the key thing to bear in mind is if you are running SQL Server, make sure that you are securing it properly, so keep it patched. Also, strongly recommend having a look at some of the secure builds. You should have, if any server is on the internet, it should have a hardened build of some kind, or you should be making informed decisions around the state that it's out there, not just assuming that once it's installed it's okay. I know that's kind of basic stuff, but you'd be surprised how many people are still just spinning stuff up and sticking it out on the internet without actually thinking about the changes to the threat landscape, that their own threat landscape that they have created by doing that stuff. So if you're running SQL Server, have a look at the article. AIM, I would suggest to avoid being swept up in this particular campaign. Then finally from me today, YouTube videos promoting cracked software are currently distributing the Luma stealer. So again, a nice write-up from in the Hacker News. We'll link the article to the briefing so that you can have a look there. Now I know I would sincerely hope that everybody listening to this does not go and install cracked software, but there's a lot of it going on. And to be completely honest, I know some otherwise very solid cybersecurity professionals who have, on occasions, been known to indulge in getting hold of dodgy copies of things. It's not a good plan, I think, is the best way forward. However, this particular campaign, something to remember is also something that to bear in mind from the point of view of any users within your environment, that they are being targeted by this stuff as well. So be aware that these videos are out there looking to make it easy for users to get hold of cracked, dodgy software, right? So they are tempting if you haven't got the money or you don't want to pay for a legitimate version of something. Historically, you would have had to have done, I want to say historically, I'm going back a little while now, but you would have had to have done some research to work out how to get a dodgy version, go and search for stuff on torrent sites and whatever it would be. Well, in order to make these things easier, there are now explainer videos. Trouble is, the links that you will find on any of those sort of videos are very likely to be malicious links leading to dodgy copies. I mean, clearly, if you're going to use pirated software, there we go. That puts me firmly in the 1990s, isn't it? Pirated software. You should expect it to be messed with. But there we go. The stuff out there that is being, is being made to look easy and attractive. It will suck in the less wary users. Hopefully, that is not, won't be you or anybody that works in your organisation or anybody in your friends or family. Anyway, have a look at it. Have a read if you're interested. It does talk through the basically the technical side of the kill chain that ends up with the Luma Stealer on your device, starting out with YouTube's and a dodgy URL. Found it quite interesting read. So yeah, you may too. That is enough for this morning. Hope you have a good Wednesday. Distinctly frosty in the south of England today, so I shall be taking my husky out for what for him will be a very nice walk after this podcast. Right, thank you. I'll speak to you all again tomorrow.